What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we got a 2020 Nissan Altima, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 to replace the front brake pads. I'm gonna give you a full guide. I'm only changing front brake pads, and just to let you guys know that if you want to change the rotors, I'm gonna show you a few things. It's just simple as, and we'll talk in detail about that. So if you want to change pads and rotors, this is a good video for you. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. But in today's video, I am going to be changing brake pads. So if you have a part number, we're using Evolution brakes. Pretty good brake pads. Never had a squeaking problem. No issues whatsoever with this guy. Put it on, set it, and you forget it. Anyways, inside here, you're going to have a hardware kit. I do make a decision on, a lot of people comment me that I should change it regardless, but I make a decision, do I want to change this? Because this car only has about like 30,000 miles on it. We might not have to, but if it looks crappy, then I am going to change it. But inside here, you're going to have 4 brake pads, okay? I want you to pay close attention to my video, okay? So 4 brake pads, all 4 brake pads have these brake wear indicator sensors. Very important that you pay attention to that throughout my video. But anyway, let's go onto the vehicle. We're going to remove the hubcap, we're going to remove the lug nuts and take off the tire, and I am going to show you full details today. Okay, to begin with, flathead screwdriver, pry bar will work best. Try not to damage it. Grab this hubcap and remove it. Sometimes you have to go all around, just yank it from each edge. And once you have that off, you're gonna need an impact gun, or if you want to take these off manually, you're gonna have to do it on the floor. Make sure you loosen them first before you jack it up. Don't take them off completely. You don't want the vehicle falling on you. Anyways, there it goes. So once that's off, usually this one will come off. I will usually put one lug nut here and take a hammer. Come on. And just tap it in the back. And it will pop off. Just tap on the wheel, on the tire, not on the rim. You don't want to damage the rim. Okay, there goes our lug nut. And this baby will come off easily. What we're going to do next is, as you can see, these brake pads are down. And okay, you can simply just turn the steering just like that, so you have a better axis. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna line our camera first. The light is way too bright, so we'll fix that up. So get a 14 millimeter. We're gonna turn this baby, and this comes off. You're gonna yank this caliper just like that up. Do not take off the second bolt unless we do so. So our line doesn't get stretched. So we're fine there. Let's remove this boot. This is also known as salt. Make sure you get your car washed. Anyways, take off the 2 brake pads. Notice these 2 little guys, okay? They sit. Very important that they go up on the top, okay? Because what happens here is, as you pry the brake pad, the pads go in. You let go of the brake pads, since the rotor, when the car is moving forward, the rotor is turning this way, this thing opens up. And these spring-loaded here, retainers here, they open up the pad so the rotor can skim through it very easily, okay? The other end will just get pushed by itself, but if the top stay closed, it won't help much. But that's the reason why, because the caliper is in the front of this rotor. But if it's in the back, then it would have been like that, and that would have been the scenario. So the bottom would have to open up first because the rotor is turning this way. Anyways, you got the point there. Next step here, okay? I want you to make sure your slider pins are sliding really good, okay? And pop them open, okay? And what we're gonna do is, I don't like the greasing on this, so I don't like a lot of greasing on the tip. There's a rubber boot here. Make sure that rubber boot stays in the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get a rag and we're gonna clean the pins. Okay, so my camera is bouncing. Anyways, take this, clean it off. Okay. If you're happy with the slider pin and you have a good amount of grease, you're okay. Take this. I want to clean it off. We're gonna put fresh grease on this baby. So same thing on the opposite side. Okay, you're only gonna be seeing one side here, but it's the same procedure for the opposite side. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take this slider pin, and I'm gonna show you the grease that I'm using here. So a little bit of grease here. I don't want to put the grease on the top one yet. The reason why I don't want to put it is because we're gonna be cleaning that, and we don't want no dirt on that. So anyways, I'm using this silicone grease here, part number 10, 40, 19. This number's down below, 888-62182. Anyway, next step, I am gonna go get a wire brush. Remember what I told you about this hardware? Okay, look at this hardware. The original stuff is always original, okay? No matter how good a brake pads you buy. And I want you to clean the surface right on the edges here. If you want to replace these hardware, make sure you get them properly, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that also. Also, if you want to change the rotor, all you need to do is take off this bolt and this bolt. This looks like a 22 millimeters, and your bracket will come off. You bang the rotor and the rotor come out. Make sure you clean the hub and make sure you grease up the hub so where the rotor sits here. So that's the area here in the center. If you watch all of my other brake videos, you will see all that on it. Anyway, so clean up the hub really good and make sure you get the surface clean so the rotor can sit flush. And we're gonna move on. Okay, make sure your hardware is nice and clean. Nice and clean, okay? So this wire brush is very soft. It won't even hurt my fingers. So you see this right here. There's so much dirt and debris here. So what I want you to do here is, even if it's your rag, you can do it with your rag. You're not gonna get all of it out, but whatever you can get out is good. What we're gonna do next is take a brake cleaner, spray it onto this little guy. It's gonna evaporate really quick, nice and easy. Spray here, really quick and easy. Get all the nasty stuff out of there. That's all you need to do there. What we're gonna do next is, let's clean up this boot one more time. Let's let all the fluid get out of there. We're gonna compress the piston next. So we're gonna pay attention to the caliper more now. So let's bring up our camera a bit. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna let this thing sit right here. I am gonna go get a compress tool. So to compress the piston on any Nissan is very simple. It's a single piston right here. So what you want to do is you want to put your all the brake pad here. You don't want to make sure you don't want to hit anything else, okay? And what you want to do is you want to put this right in the center, and you could use a C-clamp, but avoid this line from being damaged. But this tool here works pretty good, and it's very simple on these Nissans. Nothing tough, nothing difficult. And what we're gonna do here is make sure you clean up just like I showed you here, and you're pushing it, okay? Very simple and gently. It should go in just by it with one hand. If you're forcing this really hard, like two hands, make sure your pad is not dragging anywhere. That could be one reason. Other than that, it could be that your caliper is seized up. Anyways, we're all done with that, and that's how you're gonna compress this caliper. Very simple. And when you put in this caliper, make sure your line is not like twisted, okay? Make sure it's nice and straight. Anyways, that's that. So let's move on. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna come back a bit. So I want you to pay attention to this part now. Let's put the camera right here. So we're gonna go grab two brake pads. And okay, let's talk about the hardware, okay? Make sure your hardware that you have in here, make sure it doesn't touch the rotor. So if you turn it, if it screeches, that means your hardware is not centered out, it's touching the edges. But like I said, if you don't need to touch it, do not touch it. But anyways, very critical that you put on these brake pads properly, okay? Make sure your brake pads, remember this gotta go up on the top. This little guy gonna go in here, and what's gonna happen here is, okay, we're gonna open up this a bit more. So if you need to open it, remember the older brake pad, look how open this is. Okay, so make sure you open it. You see how this was down earlier, so I pulled it up a bit so it can come and touch right there. So again, let's give it another try. Make sure this is the brake wear indicator sensor here. Make sure it goes down, and it's the same thing on the inner brake pad. Very good. You see how my brake pad just went in there? In fact, if you had to hit it, hammer, tap it, no good. You want to take out your brake pad. If that's the case, you want to file the paint in the edges here to get that pad in. That's how simple that is. So I would recommend you put a little bit of grease here, a little bit of grease here, pretty much on the hardware here, no, not on the rotor. But this customer doesn't want too much dust and rust to catch onto this surface because it's mechanically inclined there. And that's how they want it done. Anyways, same thing here. Check out my brake pad here. This little sensor. Maybe it was squeezed up in the box, but it's gotta be up. And it's gotta work like a force. You see how that one worked? So make sure you get it in the same angle. Okay, so if I put this pad in here, it's gonna go down. You see how I got, even I can make a mistake, but that was just a trick for you guys. So let's grab it, another brake pad. Okay, so this one, yes, it will work. So same thing here again. Let's pull up our spring-loaded retainers here. Same thing, okay? Let's move the camera on this side, but it might block my view. Anyways, let's just let it sit right here. Again, if you need to change the rotors, those are the two bolts. Make sure you tighten them, torque them, whatever you like. Okay, so at the end of the video, I will give you torque specs. So again, pay attention to this little guy. Okay, and there you go. Very simple. So it should work like a spring, and that's it. It's not gonna push out. These more like the Hondas, they have the retainers that will force everything out. Okay, do not forget to put greasing on this pin right here. This is a slider pin. It needs greasing to move in and out, in and out. Anyways, another thing I like to do is, this is the grease I would use. It's a regular grease to pat on the pads where I told you to put it. And I told the customer I am going to put it here because this is where the caliper is going to meet. So a little bit of greasing here. The reason why they don't want grease in the bottom is because the dust, all the dirt and debris will catch onto it, and then it won't allow the pads to move. Anyways, now we're going to take this slider pin, make sure the boot grabs in. Same thing here. If it's not in, you're going to get water in there. Anyway, should be nice and easy. So what I want to do is, I'm going to snug this bolt. And we're all set. And at the end of the video, I will give you torque specs. And I got to go get my torque wrench, but let me just snug this for now. And torque this, torque that, put your wheel on, make sure your line is nice and straight. Anyways, that's everything. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Make sure everything is tight. Double check. I still need to torque this, babies. And make sure you tighten them really good. Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. I'm all done. Make sure you close your cap up. And before you even start the car, what you need to do is, you need to go inside the vehicle. You need to pump that brake pedal several times. It's going to be soft, then it will get hard, and you're all done. You can start the vehicle and go for a drive, brake in the brake pad. There is a way to brake in the brake pad. You need to drive this vehicle. If you look inside this box here, you will get all the instructions in here, okay? You have to drive this vehicle for about good, probably like half an hour, 15 minutes. And I will tell you right there, go from 30 to 5 miles per hour. Do not let the car stop, and do not go below 5, and do not go above 30. And brake, let it come down to 5 miles per hour, and then take off again. And repeat the process for several times. Anyways, you can check that out yourself right there. Anyways, thank you for watching.